सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। हरिः ओम् श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्. We are in Bhagavad Gita, 14th chapter, Gudatraya Vibhaga Yogam, and we have completed up to 8th sloka. Today I propose to give explanation from sloka number 9 up to 13. So first we'll see these slokas and then go forward. Sattvam sukhe sanjayati rajakarmani bharata jnanamavrutya tamaha pramade sandhyayatyuta rajastamaschabhibhuya sattvam bhavati bharata rajasattvam tamaschaiva tamasattvam rajastada sarvadvareshu dehesmin prakasa upajayate jnanam yada tada vidyat vivruddham sattvamityuta lobah pravrittirarambah karmanamasamaspuha rajasyetani jayante vivruddhe bharatarshava avakaso pravrittischa pramado moha evacha tamasyetani jayante vivruddhe kurudandana. Sattvam sukhe sanjayati rajakarmani bharata jnanamavrutya tamaha pramade sandhyayatyuta. Sattvam sanjayati, sattva binds one. Sukhe, to pleasure. Rajaha karmani, rajas, rajoguna binds one to action. Utatu, whereas tamaha sanjayati, tamas binds one, pramade, to negligence. Avrutya, by wheeling. Jnanam, the discriminative power. O Bharata, O Arjuna. He Bharata, Sattvam Dehinam Sukhe Sanjayati Rajaha Karmani Uta Tamahatu Jnanam Avrutya Pramade Sanjayati. Sattva binds one to pleasure. Rajas binds one to action. Whereas tamas binds one to negligence. By wheeling the discriminative power. In this verse, Krishna Paramatma repeats the topic of bandhana prakara. Even though Paramatma explained this topic already, he wants to give the whole thing in this very verse. How each guna binds a person by creating a particular form of addiction. Each one binds by creating a particular form of addiction, which is called sangaha. And what are these three addictions? Let us analyze. Sattvam sukhe sanjayati. Sattvaguna causes, Sattvaguna creates addiction to quietude, nivrutti, withdrawal, silence. Addiction to silence is a form of addiction. So sukham means tranquility, quietude, seclusion, etc. So Sukha Sangha is the mode of bondage. This person doesn't want to move around. He doesn't prefer people and crowds. He wants solitude, loneliness, and he wants to learn and learn. Whereas Rajoguna causes another form of addiction. Karma Sangena. So it causes addiction to action, karma. Doing karma is harmless. Only beyond a stage, addiction to karma is a problem. Anything in excess is a problem, isn't it? So, this addiction is doing something in excess. Enjoying silence is wonderful, but addiction to silence is a problem. He cannot tolerate a second person. Like meditation is excellent, but addiction to meditation is a problem. In fact, Vedanta goes to the highest level, saying even addiction to Shastra is addiction. So, don't carry the idea home that I will not continue because it becomes an addiction. Not so. So, we think of leaving even Shastra if you listen to this. But we have to understand anything in excess is an addiction or bondage. Vedanta goes even up to God. That kind of detachment we need to develop now. But Paramatma wants to say karma is okay. Karma addiction is a bondage. Simply doing action is not an issue at all. Similarly, Tamoguna binds. How? Pramade. As we saw before, carelessness, lack of attention. So, no job is done wholeheartedly. Whatever the job this Tamoguna person takes up, there are mistakes. There are corrections required. So, Pramada Sangha, you can say, Nidra Sangha also. How does it create? How does it cause? By wielding the discriminative power, this Pramada Sangha takes place. By covering the discriminative power, Tamoguna makes a person addicted to lose jobs at all times. By covering the discriminative power, the Tamoguna makes a person addicted to lose jobs all the time. So that means what? You cannot make that person responsible. Whatever job you give, you have to stand behind him. For that, we can ourselves do that job. He can never be a responsible person. Paramatma divided this topic into 5 different subtopics. So, first topic being the definition, Lakshanam of 3 gunas. He gave the definition, Sattva guna is Prakasatmakam, Rajoguna is Ragatmakam, Tamoguna is Mohanatmakam. The word Prakasatmakam means a mind which would be inclined to gain more and more knowledge. Mind which is predisposed to the pursuit of knowledge. A mind with more and more knowing tendencies. A mind which wants to use Jnanendriyas more is called Sattvika mind. Rajoguna is said to the Ragatmakam, which is personality, tendency to have a dynamic mind, which want to use karmendriyas more than jnanendriyas. Therefore, karma predisposition or karma tendency is rajoguna lakshanam. The knowledge tendency is sattvaguna lakshanam. Tamoguna is defined as mohanatmakam, which means a personality which is always in doubt, always indecisive, always procrastinating, always postponing, always not sure what to do. A mind which is eternally in conflict and delusion. If you try to help him resolve the conflict, not only you do not resolve the conflict, he will successfully pass on that conflict to you, to your mind. So powerful is their mohaha. So this is the constant vacillating mind. Tamoguna, which is defined as mohanatmakam. This is the first topic which we have discussed out of 5. Then the second topic that we did was bandhana prakara. How 3 gunas bind a person, which we can easily infer. A calm mind has always a knowing tendency, a learning tendency. So therefore, naturally it is addicted to any infrastructure which is conducive for learning. It always loves learning infrastructure, which means quietude, which means seclusion, which means silence, which means withdrawal, which means reduction of relationships. Because relationships require extrovertedness. Therefore, a calm mind is attached to knowledge infrastructure, whereas a Rajasic mind hates knowledge, infrastructure of quietude, withdrawal, etc. A Rajasic mind craves for karma infrastructure, always action-oriented. It wants to do something or other. Therefore, a Rajasic mind wants gadgets, wants to go out. It wants an infrastructure in which karmendriyas can be active. And this is called bondage. It is addicted to such a setup, and if such a setup is not available, then the person feels fish out of water. He is unhappy if he is not having any work. This unhappiness is not caused by silence, not caused by loneliness, but caused by lack of action. Sattvam sukhe sanjayati. Sukha sangha means jnana sangha. The bondage is more towards jnana. Rajoguna binds through karma sangha, attachment to karma. Tamoguna binds to nidra and also alasya. Tamoguna mind is not bothered about what infrastructure he wants. It does not even know what it wants. Still groping in darkness. And also it does not want to decide. Decision making is not there in Tamoguna mind. Tamoguna mind people are careless. So this is Pramada Sangha. Now we have to see the 10th sloka. Rajastamascha vibhuya sattvam bhavati bharata. Rajas sattvam tamascheva tamas sattvam rajastada. Sattvam bhavati, sattva manifests. Abhibhuya, by overpowering. Cha cha tamaha rajaha. Tamas and rajas. Rajaha sattvam cha eva tamaha. Rajas manifests by overpowering sattva and tamas. Tamas sattvam tada rajaha. Tamas manifests by overpowering sattvam and rajas. He Bharata, he Arjuna. Sattvam rajaha tamaha eva abhibhuya swayam bhavati. Cha rajaha sattvam tamaha cha abhibhuya swayam bhavati. Tada tamaha sattvam rajaha abhibhuya swayam bhavati. Sattva manifests by overpowering rajas and tamas. Rajas manifests overpowering sattva and tamas. Tamas manifests by overpowering sattva and rajas. For the third topic, Krishna Paramatma is going to deal, which is the lingam, or the indicatory mark to know. Lingam means that which indicates whether one is sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic. So, in the lingam, he is giving what are the indicators by which we can identify whether the person is sattvic in nature, or rajasic in nature, or tamasic in nature. The 10th verse is a diversion verse. Of course, it is a deliberate diversion, because Paramatma considers this topic, this is a diversion topic, important, and what does Paramatma wants to say here? He says everything is made up of three gunas, because everything and every being is born of Prakriti. From an inert object to the most intelligent human being, every blessed thing in this creation is a product of Prakriti. Therefore, everyone has got all three gunas. But there is only one difference. The difference is, even though everything is made up of three gunas, the proportion is not uniform. The proportion was uniform before the creation. During Pralaya Avastha, the three gunas were in equilibrium. In Sankhya philosophy, they called Gunanam Samya Avastha Pralaya. Once the creation has started, there is no more equilibrium. There is Vishama Avastha. That means inequilibrium. And therefore, in case of inert objects, there also three gunas are there. But tamoguna will be most dominant in an inert object. That is why the object does not have a learning tendency. You do not find a wall interested in learning Vedanta. Does it mean the wall does not have sattva guna? No. But tamoguna is dominant. It has got all gunas, but tamoguna is dominant. Therefore, it does not have a learning capacity, nor has the wall doing capacity. Thank God. If it has got the doing capacity, the walls would keep on moving. So we cannot imagine such a situation. Similarly, the plants have got all three gunas. It has got some amount of sattva guna and rajas guna, and even though the plant is almost like an inert object, but the plant has got little more sattva guna and rajas. It has got a tendency about the environment, which the innate object does not have. It does not have extraordinary sattva guna to learn. Therefore, you need not have schools and colleges for plants. It does have a limited capacity of growing, limited activity of growing. But you won't see a plant going for a walk. When we come to animals, we find sattva and rajas are still more dominant. Their capacity to learn, understand is more than a plant. And also, they are not stationary. They are not stavara. Animals are moving, living beings. That means Rajoguna is still more in a higher grade than plants. Once you come to human beings, Sattva, Rajas are still more dominant. Therefore, human beings have got schools and colleges, books and books. So Sattva is dominant and it overpowers Rajogunam and Tamogunam. Then Rajaha Bhavati. If you have to supply, Rajoguna is present in a Rajasic person, then Tamas and Sattvam, they are subservient, they are at a lower level. Tamaha Bhavati, a tamasic person, Tamoguna is present more. Then Rajas and Sattvam Abhibhuya, dominating Sattvam and Rajogunam, this Tamogunam will be manifesting more. So this is what we have to understand. So 11th sloka. Sarvadvareshu dehesmin prakasavupajayate jnanam yada tada vidyat vivruddham satyamityuta. Yada prakashaha jnanam, when the light of knowledge upajayate grows, sarvadvareshu, in all sense organs, asmin dehe, in this very body, tada vidyat vivruddham sattvamityuta, tada vidyat, then one should know, iti uta sattvam vivruddham, sattvam is predominant, uta yada asmin dehe sarvadvareshu prakasaha jnanam cha upajayate tada sattvam vivruddham iti vidyat. When the light of knowledge grows in all sense organs in this body, then one should know that sattva is predominant. So the third topic we are entering is lingam, the indication. In the 11th verse, we talk about Sattva Lingam, 12th Rajolingam, 13th Tamolingam. How to know whether a person is Sattvic, Rajasic or Tamasic. This is what the indication deals with. Asmin dehe sarvadvareshu prakasa upajayate. Here, dwara means 5 sense organs. Dwarani means indriyani. And they are called dwaram, a hole, because through the 5 holes alone, we gather the knowledge of external world. Sabdajnanam comes through srotram. Similarly, through the eyes, we get the drusya jnanam. Through nose, we get gandha jnanam. So like that we have dwaras. We have got the holes, sense organs. So they absorb the knowledge from the external world and they give you Shabda, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, Sparsha. knowledge through these sense organs, through these holes. There's a small test for memory. If you recall, some 15 objects are kept in front of you and you have to gaze at them. They cover them with a thick cloth and then you are asked to write all the 15 items. So this is the memory power, which is sattva guna. If the sattva guna is really high, you will be able to give out almost all 15 items in a jiffy. Like that, there are so many memory tests which will make you understand that you have sattvic nature. If you have a learning capacity, if you have a capacity to by heart, then you can test how quickly you can by heart by reading it 10 times, 8 times, 6 times, like that, you can test your capacity, which is sattvic in nature. So, the sattva guna is prakasatmakam. It has got the capacity to learn. If you have the capacity to learn, that means you are sattvic in nature. The lingam is sattvic. So, in people, we can always identify. There are certain people who have got the tendency to learn. You need not, prompt them to learn. They learn on their own. They love to learn. They enjoy learning. Such people are sattvic in nature. This is the lingam for them. This is the indication for sattvic people. We will see the 12th sloka, which talks about the rajasic lingam. Lobah pravruttirarambaha karmana masamaspruha rajasyetani jayante vivruddhe bharatarshaba. He Bharatarshaba, he Bharata, he Arjuna, he Bharata, he Arjuna, Lobaha Pravrittihi, the greedy activity, Karmana Arambaha, the commencement of works, Ashamaha, restlessness, spruha, craving. Etani jayanti, these appear in Rajasic people. Rajasi vivruddhe, when Rajas is predominant. He Bhartarshaba, lobaha pravrittihi, karmanam arambaha, ashamaha, spruha, etani chihnani, Rajasi vivruddhe sati jayante. Greedy activity, commencement of works, restlessness, craving, these appear when Rajas is predominant. So, Rajoguna is dominant. Means Lobha means inordinate greed to achieve worldly things. A super ambitious person. Of course, such people accomplish many things in the society. In fact, the country's material progress is dependent on such people. We should be very careful. We are not criticizing Rajasic people here. Because if a nation has to progress, we require a lot of activity also. At least Swami Vivekananda felt that our country required more Rajasic people than Sattvic people. Because these people are not Tamasic. They can do wonders. Tamasic people cannot do anything. They are mostly sleepy in nature. So, Vivekananda preferred Rajasic people so that they can bring lot of change in the world. So Rajasic guna is not a bad thing. Even at the age of 95, these people are highly ambitious and therefore scheming, planning endlessly. It will go on naturally planning to implement these plans. They have pravrutti and they are called workaholic. They love to work all the time, running about. They have no time to nitya karma. They have no time for japa. They have no time for learning. They have no time for Gita. They have no time to question what is the real goal of life. Therefore, they are into pravrutti marga. Karmanam ashamaha. Initiating many activities without bothering whether they can take care of them. They will initiate up-teen projects, but everything will be standstill. Therefore, karmanam arambaha. Therefore, what is the condition of their mind? Asama, ever restless mind, ever impatient. So, this is the nature of Rajasic people. They want always work. They want everything to happen instantly. They work so fast and also expect others to do with that extraordinary speed. They get angry if they don't see people are not working with their capacity, with their speed. They become very popular because they are the achievers. They really do wonders. They have a lot of accomplishments. They are asamaha. They are highly restless because they want to achieve more and more. There is no contentment. So, they are always short-tempered. Spruha, they have a strong attachment to their accomplishments, to their achievements. Highly egoistic they will be. They want their place. Our Pujya Dayananda Saraswati Swamiji says these people who says self-made man, most dangerous people. All the time saying, I started from the scratch. I have now become a millionaire. And keep on saying that. They will repeat this umpteen times. We have to listen this. If you do not listen, they will get angry. Therefore, highly arrogant. Spruha, attached to their ego. Therefore, if there is no acknowledgement also for their contribution, again they get disturbed. Therefore, they are subject to heavy disappointments because always that recognition will not be there in the society. Sometimes they are frustrated. They will throw things and run away if they do not get proper recognition. They are great achievers but highly volatile. People of a volcanic mind. And all these things will increase when Rajasi Vivruddhe Sati. When Rajoguna increases, all these things will also increase. Therefore, somebody had written how Rajasic people pray to God. Oh Lord, give me darshan right now, or else I will not spare you. Even the prayer is in this egoistic manner, in this demanding manner. So we will go to sloka number 13. Aprakaso pravrittischa pramado moha eva cha tamasyeta nijayante vivruddhe kuru nandana. Aprakasha, dullness. Apravritticha, inaction. Pramada, negligence. Evacha, mohaha, and delusion. Etani jayante, these appear. Tamasi vivruddhe, when tamas is predominant. He Kurunandana, he Arjuna. He Kurunandana, aprakashaha, apravrittihi cha, pramadaha cha, mohaha eva, etani chihnani, tamasi vivruddhe sati jayante. Dullness, inaction, negligence, and delusion. These appears when tamas is predominant. Hey Arjuna. So tamasic person, no problem for him as well as for others, because he does not take part in any activity. Therefore, aprakashaha, all the jnanendriyas are dull for him. So even to read a news item, he will not show an interest. He will have to read it number of times to understand it. Simple news also. They have to read many times to cognize a thing, because the jnanendriyas are really dull. Then about karmendriyas, apravritticha, karmendriyas are also dull for them. They are neither ambitious nor competitive. So aprakasa indicates the absence of sattva. Apravritti indicates the absence of rajas. The absence means rajas is absent. The rajoguna is overpowered by tamoguna. Sattva-guna is also overpowered by tamoguna. Therefore, generally, he does not do anything. And if you force him to do things, you will have to go behind him and make him do anything. If he does it independently, invariably, there are a lot of mistakes. You have to rectify them afterwards. So, you have to decide whether to give him a work or not. So, better you do it yourself instead of depending on a tamasic person. Therefore, pramada means negligence. All the time, oversight, a problem is there. Lot of mistakes. Therefore, pramada is carelessness. Mohaha is delusion, conflict. Lifelong he does not know what he wants to do. You just ask that person, what do you want? There is no proper answer from him. He is slippery. He is not very clear about what he wants. At least if we decide, he will not listen. He will not know himself and he will not listen also. Neither he can decide nor he will follow what I ask him to do. Only thing you can do is what? Prayer. If you have to live with such a person, not only you require prayer, you will also need a lot of patience. Therefore, mohaha, all the time, these people are in conflict, procrastination. They always postpone things. Tamasi vivruddhe sati. When tamoguna is dominant, all these expressions will surface. From these expressions, you can infer the dominance of three gunas. Shankara Bhagavad Pada says, why do we require inference? Inference is required because three gunas are not pratyaksham. Where pratyaksham do not work, anumana has to be made. If I cannot see the fire, I have to indirectly go to the indicator. Through this smoke, I have to infer the fire, because the fire is not seen. Similarly, which guna is dominating in me, I cannot see with a physical eye, because the guna is not pratyaksham. Wherever pratyaksha pramanam does not work, we have to look for inference, indicator, clues. So, we require a lingam. So, by knowing these details of the lingam, we can judge ourselves in which category we fall into. Whether we are tamasic, rajasic, or sattvic. The idea of this analysis is we have to grow from tamasic to rajasic and from rajasic to sattvic. That is the travel. That is the spiritual travel for every seeker. And after you reach sattvic nature, you have to further grow beyond this and become gunatita. Gunatita means you have to own up that Chaitanya Tattvam as your real self, which does not have any guna at all. So this is the idea. So in this chapter, particularly in the slokas, starting from sloka number 9 up to 13, we have learnt two important things. Bandhana prakara and the lingam. Bandhana prakara means how each guna binds a person. Each guna is a bondage. None of the gunas are exempted from bondage. If you are predominantly sattvic in nature, you have addiction for silence, you have addiction for seclusion, you have addiction for loneliness, you have addiction for learning. You want to learn, and learn. So this is the Sattva-guna bondage. And Rajoguna bondage is more into action, more into achievements. You have so many targets to reach. You will be highly workaholic. If there is no work, you get really restless. If you cannot achieve what you want to achieve, you become restless and frustrated. So, a Rajasic person is highly active and he looks at other people also to be similarly active. And if they are not active like him, he gets irritated. So, this is about the Rajasic person. And Tamoguna person is totally different. He is very lethargic in nature. He doesn't want to learn, doesn't want to do anything. He simply idles his time and he whiles away the entire time and he loves to sleep. He loves to, sit idle. So this is about the tamoguna person. So these gunas are not uniformly same in each person. So to identify whether a person is sattvic in nature, rajasic in nature, or tamasic in nature, we have an indicator called lingam. We have just now discussed about the lingam. This analysis is given so that we can identify ourselves whether we are tamasic, rajasic, or sattvic. So once you identify your own nature by taking this indicator called lingam, then you have to pursue your spiritual journey from tamasic to rajasic, from rajasic to sattvic. And once you reach the sattvic stage, you have to imbibe the self-knowledge and stay in that nishtha and become gunatita. This is the scheme. So we will learn more in these lines. Om Tat Sat Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamast. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudatyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.